Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer, and I'm here to build a very big Lego set. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego set emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes or just say hi. If you don't have my emotes, use other people's emotes. Or just say hey or hi or whatever. Thank you to Harold for hosting the stream. Thank you very much, Harold. Spen says, happy to watch, Pat. I'm happy you're here. Julie's here. Welcome, Julie. Yeah, of course, if you've been gifted a sub, more than welcome to use those as well. We got such a massive Lego set, and we are definitely not close to being done. It's actually fun because we can compare like where we are on like the house part that's done, and then the upside down house that's not done. But yeah, this is like, whew, this is we're in it. We're in it to win it, but we're making it happen. Bobby Dice Roller is here. Welcome, Bobby. Um, it's one of those things where, like, it's pretty much the top house and the bottom house are identical, with the exception to the rule, is that there's a car, or a police vehicle for the top one that is not part of the bottom one because there's apparently not an upside down vehicle present, which is fine. I just realized there's a spot for the vehicle to be so it can be upside down, because this kit, you can flip it so the upside down is the right side up and the right side up is the upside down. Boom! Explosion. And yeah, it's a whole thing. But we're gonna get going on building in a second. I'll do the old, like, here's where we are from this angle with the house. We're doing the interior of the house there. You can see we got more room. This is the exterior of the house, but we haven't put the wall parts on it. We haven't put anything in the yard. And then and then on the other side, you can see we've got the bedroom and the bedroom and the living room stuff, and we're just moving along there. And then the completed house has the room switched. The little chair there, we haven't built that yet, and the house is on the other side, so that it will be up. You can flip it upside down. And the back has the yard, which we haven't completed on the other house, which we will, and of course the vehicle right there. But this is meant to be flipped upside down, and yeah, you can do it like that, which is just like lots of neat nonsense. I'm excited about it. Dirty's here. Welcome, Dirty. And yeah, this is the old intro portion, giving people a chance to come in before we get building. Tonight we'll chat about a few things, I'm sure, and hang out. I got some anime talk in the second hour. I'm going to talk a little bit about my plans for changing things up a little bit with some of my YouTube content. Very minor changes, but basically experimenting with the Pat Reacts format of Bear With Me, because even if it didn't like do BOFO, BO, that's a industry term for great box office results. In that case, BO stands for box office. I really liked last week's Bear With Me, and so for the next one, I'm going to change things up a little bit and try out something different. And then I'm going to keep working on this massive Lego set, and we're going to hang out, and it's going to be, hopefully really fun, but maybe just like chill and nice and introspective, perhaps. I don't know. And we'll get going in just a moment. I'm going to retweet my own tweet, let the people know that it is indeed Lego time. If you happen to be here because, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Pat Baer. Welcome to the Bear Cave. You're here in the Bear Cave because it's wherever I am. The Bear Cave follows me, so you're here now. And I'm going to go to the old overhead for our Stranger Things. So this is the completed first half here. You can see from the above shot. That's the roof. This is the outside. And this is the inside of the house. We completed there. Oh, also, let's see if I can hold this with one hand. I can. It's got a little lighting effect. You can't really see too well in that lighting. You can see that better, but it does illuminate the wall a little bit. It's pretty neat. It was actually an incorrect angle. That's what it looks like. Yeah. So there's that. And the rooms and all that, little touches here and there. And then we're gonna be focusing on this part of the house, the upside down version, which is inverted, so that when it's upside down, it'll be like this room will be on top of the other room, the whole thing. You get it. You get it. This is a pre-owned kit, as I've mentioned before. I inherited this kit from a friend of mine who was like, "Hey, I'm moving, and I don't want this, but I don't want to throw away a great big Lego set. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yes, I very much do want this." So I inherited this kit. So I've been building. I finally am at the point now where every piece that has been knolled that I haven't used yet is on my table. I have enough room for all of it, so I don't have to dig in bags. If I can't find it, it's because I use the color for something else. This is a regular plant in the regular house, and in the upside down, it is a thing with a vine. Uh, and then this is in color on the top. That's a Monster Manual, but in this version, it is colored. Just dark tones. Get a lot of mixing things up, changing it up, making it look different. We got there. I hope you're all doing well. Let's see. This has been a strange thing. So today marked the third day in a row where I left the house and went farther than just like walking the distance I walked for exercise, which I don't do every day, but I do most days, and then other days I use a bicycle, a fixed bike, for exercise. But I got in a car 3 days in a row and went places. On Thursday, I went to Costco. On Friday, I went to the local grocery store. And then today, I went to a library and a CVS. And the CVS was because, as you may be aware, tomorrow is Mother's Day. And also on Wednesday, you would not know, is my father's birthday. So I needed to get cards. And also, it was a good excuse to get out of the house. And so, yeah, I had 3 days in a row. And then tomorrow we're gonna order and then pick up pizza, and I will go along on that just to leave the house. And that is a thing to look forward to. And hey, things to look forward to are occasionally few and far between these days. So an opportunity to like get out of the house, and it was like nice. I hadn't been into that library before, and it was kind of cool. Also, lots of Pokestops around that library, which was nice. Because I'm catching a bunch of fairy type Pokemon right now that are out in the wild, which is fun. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to just like get out of the house, and just it's like, yeah, I'll go on errands. Sure, what else am I gonna do? But yeah, I was happy to get a bunch of stuff done. Also, like I'm doing a bunch of yard work right now. It's fine. I got more coming up. It is what it is. I'm not thrilled about it, as you may remember. Ooh, oh well. Oh, okay. There's some stuff there. Oh, XO 220C is now following. Thank you for the follow. I was gonna say, oh, this is weird. There was empty space. There shouldn't have been. I figured it out. Folks. All this is coming back to me. It's different colors, but it's still the same kind of build. Like they don't change the build; they just change the pieces you're using to complete this build. So makes sense. You love Lego, awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan myself. As I've said to folks that are have been watching the streams, this is a little odd for me because I am not I've never seen an episode of Stranger Things. But this is like a huge build, and it's kind of fun to work on, like a vehicle and houses. I mostly do vehicles and like fantasy stuff. I love the Ninjago line and building like Lego dragons and stuff. And the 3-in-1 kits. I recently bought and built a Lego Bugatti. It took me 4 months. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that kit. That's definitely a very intense build. This has been almost 2 weeks of. Now, when I say almost 2 weeks, I mean I started it like 2 weeks ago Monday, but I only been doing it while I've been streaming. So, I haven't figured out the exact hours of it, but it's not like a lot of hours. It's some hours, certainly. I think it's been like a 7-hour build. I want to, or no, more than that. Like a 13-hour build so far. I don't know. Okay, so I'm looking for pieces here. I didn't know all this ahead of time. Again, folks, I will say, because we do have a couple people here I don't think have been here for a bit before, so I want to stress that this kit, because it was pre-owned by a friend of mine who was like, I don't want to take this with me when I move. Would you like me to mail it to you? I said, yes. So it was pre-built, which, hey, Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. And by pre-built, the stress is that I got all of this ahead of time and had to sort it myself, which is a lot of work. And I would say if you're going to build a kit this big, don't do what I did. Instead, you want to do a bag at a time. And if you want to know those bags to make it easier, you want to separate by color and separate by shape within the color. That does make things a lot easier. But don't open all the bags. Like if you got a 200-piece kit, I think you can definitely get away with doing that. But if you're dealing with a 2,200-piece kit, don't do that. All right, so we got to find one more 1x3 black. And as I said, there's just like a lot of black pieces, so I have to kind of dig around in where I knolled this. And I found it. There we go. Each part of it was nicely segmented. There were boxes with bags inside of it. Talking about your Bugatti build. Yeah, that's really nice. So you want to do the segmented bags. Like if you get a kit and it has bags with numbers in it, do yourself the favor, actually open them, open this bag and be like, okay, this is bag 1. Great. I'm gonna null bag 1 or just gonna build out of the bag. But you want to go through each bag, actually do the numbers, because otherwise you end up really stressing yourself out with like a really long build. You organize your pieces into trays per bag. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, trays is a good method. Some people do sorting trays from like the same kind of little trays you put into a hobby shelf. Stuff you can get from the Container Store. I just do kind of separated. You can see it. This is where my black is. You can kind of see there's some green over here and some other colors and gray and blue, and I just separate them. And then I also, for my own eyes, because I do a lot of model kit building or Lego building for Star Wars stuff, or at least I did when they were consistently putting out new Star Wars stuff. Star Wars has a lot of light gray and dark gray, and under this light, it's very clear to see which one is light and which one is dark. But when you're looking at a booklet, sometimes I have trouble with my eyes telling them apart. So I like to keep them separate so that I can really look at it. And then also, you can reference. You're like, oh, I don't know if this is supposed to be light gray or dark gray. Let me look to see what this is somewhere else. Oh, I know where it is. Okay, good. All right, we're building a shelving unit here. So we're going to need some pieces. I also, just in case on hand, in case one doesn't come with the kit, have the Lego removing tool. Yes, the brick separator. Ooh, you always want to have one of these, even if it doesn't, like you said, doesn't have it. So you're not using your teeth. You're not digging your nails in there. You're not using like a nail file, or in my case, when I was a child, a butter knife was my go-to, which you definitely got bent by the end of it in the days before the brick separator. Yes. If you don't have one of those and you don't buy big kits where you will get one included, they are available on their own. You can get them at the Lego store, or you can order them online. And I do recommend them if you are going to get starting to get into Lego assembly. I said model kit, a bunch there. Also, I'll say this: we've been doing this, and this has been a great kit. I've really enjoyed it. I also starting to miss building model kits. I put up, if you don't know this, my $10 patrons get to vote on what I build next. And I'm going to put a list up for them soon for when we finish. And even though I have a Lego set in my backlog of stuff that's possible to build, I'm not going to include that because I don't want it to win. Because I really want to build anything but Lego soon. Like I'll be happy to build it in the future. I mean, I bought the kit. It looks cool. But I would love to take a slight break from building Lego because this has been a long process. So the goal is to eventually just be like, okay, cool. Now I'm building something different and build a model kit. I'm excited about that. Also got a couple model kits in the mail today because I got to keep up with my backlog. Got to keep the pieces together. So I'm excited to eventually work on that. One of those kits. And of course, I got a few things in the mail. Aristofan says, I know you don't do Legos too often, but it's been nice seeing you do a big kit. It's been great to do a big kit. I love that. I'm going to get to your question as well in a second. And I'll get into that because it's a big topic. XO. But yes, I've been happy to work on a big Lego set. It's been a while since we did a big one because even with licensing, even moderate sized model kit or Lego sets, I should say, cost quite a bit of money. So I understand why it hasn't happened in a while that I built a big one, but it's been kind of fun to do that. Now I'll get into XO's question, which is, so I'm pansexual. Could you explain to me so I can better understand the term demisexual? If you see in my YouTube, I have my Twitch bio, I believe, and I also have it on my Twitter bio that I am indeed demisexual. And so, I am within, as a demisexual, I am within the broader asexual family, but it's slightly different. So basically, I have atypical sexual desires for people of gender, or genders, sexual desires of that. I can't have it, but so it is similar to asexuality, where I can have that, but it comes generally tied to a deep emotional connection with someone, and it's often few and far between. Not everyone who is demisexual is straight or gay or queer, or bisexual or pansexual, but we are all over the place in that regard. But generally, it is looked at. We are often asexual because we are not deeply involved in a friendship and strong connection with someone that we would then take physical to the physical level. So like the joke I often made is if you see someone out there walking around and you notice their butt, someone who is asexual will say, I can objectively see that is a nice butt that someone may desire, because I can understand, even if it's not for me, I can understand. And then somebody else might say, who is straight or gay or pansexual or bisexual or queer, might say, I'm interested in the person that has that butt that immediately. And someone who's demisexual will say, I can objectively notice that that's a great butt. If, over the course of many months or weeks or years, perhaps, I develop a strong personal connection with that person, I could see myself someday desiring that butt. That is basically where we're at. If you don't often, if a one-night stand makes zero sense to you, the concept, the very idea of just being like casual sexual encounter with someone, you're very welcome. But yeah, the idea of like a casual sexual encounter, that would never cross my mind. But on the flip side, you're like, it's weird that everyone I get very close to, I suddenly feel attracted to. Like if I'm vibing with someone, it's like, it feels very high school to have crushes on your best friend, but like, that's where I'm at. Oh, weird. I never have crushes on anyone else except that best friend. Then you could indeed be demisexual. It's pretty new. They're still figuring that stuff out, just like everything out there. It is what it is. I know people who are like, ooh, we're having an internet connection issue. Dropped some frames there. Hopefully we'll pop back up in just a minute. But if you are watching this on YouTube, you didn't see that. But oh, looks like our connection is coming back. So I apologize for that. I have had some connectivity issues lately, which has been frustrating. But yeah, there are people who are like, oh, turns out I'm not asexual or a romantic. I'm demisexual. Oh, turns out I'm not demisexual. I'm actually asexual. I was just, yeah, that wasn't me at that point. I've figured this out. It's all a lot of hopefully being in a place where you can be okay with expressing yourself in the same way that I have known people in the past who have been like, "Hey, I'm coming out as being bisexual," uh, and then later we're like, "Actually, I'm trans and gay," and you're like, "Oh, cool." Like whatever works for people. Or people that are like, I think I'm trans. Well, turns out after much deliberation, turns out I am non-binary because I haven't been comfortable with my skin. Turns out I'm somewhere on my own in a thing. Those are all things that if we live in a healthy society, we allow people the opportunity to figure those things out. And we hope that people can do it in a safe manner and they get support. And yeah, and that's just the hope that things get handled in a way where people feel like they have the opportunity to get to live as their authentic selves. And oh boy, I can't wait for the day where the phrase authentic self sounds corny as hell. Because right now, to me anyway, it's just my experience, it is such a beautiful statement and a beautiful sentiment, like the very idea that people haven't been able to be who they truly are and feel that way and then have the opportunity to live that way is so beautiful and wonderful. But I can't wait for it to be yeah, oh cool, and not in a dismissive way, but in yeah, I mean, duh, I'm happy for you, of course, but sure, you're living authentically. Why wouldn't you be? That kind of thing. Uh, oh, certainly. Yeah, because I just say the thing I would say about demisexual is I'm not interested in anyone sexually till I am. That's basically it. It's a sometimes. It's a weird one. Yeah, it because all I mean everything is and that's why I always feel for folks that are like, well, I did this whole thing and now I have to do more of it, and it was bad enough the first time I had to explain things because when you're like, hey, a version of me that is now different than how you knew it, how you knew me, and that's a lot for people to take in. And if you're going to do multiple incarnations of that, it's also a lot. It can be a whole lot. Yes, pansexual folks certainly get it lumped in with bisexual folks. And also, look, I mean, we can all agree this comes from a place of I am not saying that. Ooh, I'm going to adjust my camera just a tad here. I am not here to delve into bi erasure and be of a problem with folks that way. I am not here to say that, because there is a lot of bi erasure out there. But also, it does feel, the term, not the people, the term feels a little outdated because it presupposes the idea of bisexuality is that there are two genders and you are equally interested, or not equally, but you are interested in both. And it's but gender is a construct. And there's a spectrum. So what? So it does feel outdated, but also I did want to stress, like, 100%. This is not me. This is me not saying that it isn't real and true. Yeah, you're interested in the entire gender spectrum, right? And I think that there are folks who are bisexual who, uh, yeah, totally. And I think there are folks that are bisexual that like are also interested in everything on the spectrum. But there are also folks that are looking for, and it ends is the wrong word for it, of course. But they're looking for very specific things out of very specific people. Um, and but yeah, it does feel like, you know, and we drop in the term queer a lot to talk about lots of different kinds of folks um, out there that have lots of different kinds of experience. Um, and that also can be an issue where I have folks that I am close to that that don't love folks like myself who are under the umbrella of being asexual, using the term queer, and I totally understand that and can totally sympathize, as I am what a friend of mine who is also demi described us as like, well, at the end of the day, we can just appear to be lonely, and not everyone has that invisibleness to their express to their lives like that. Um, and it's, you know, great in some ways and also feels very hollow in others. So it's a thing of like, at the end of the day, if people see me, if they don't see me a part of the community, I understand that. If they would look at me as just an ally, well, I'm a loud ally, and that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm part of the alphabet. Uh, yeah, but yeah, I would say I'm part of the alphabet because that is, I think that's like where I belong in there. Um, and it doesn't feel right to diminish folks. And I always say it's like, look, the A stands uh, stands for asexual. It doesn't stand for ally. That's an important thing to say out loud. That including myself among the queer community is not a erasure of anyone, and is with the understanding that I am simply that I am part, and not everyone has equal issue within it, and experiences are of other folks are not the same as mine, and understanding that, and then also I will always be an advocate. As I say, I will always be an advocate, because there are folks that are like, as like folks that don't want to have like certain people within a conversation of what is queer, and they would include trans folks in that. And it's just like, oh, that's cute, but no, we're not doing that. In fact, we're not even having that argument anymore. Like, you could have that argument, but we're not having that argument. The argument I'm having is the inclusion of the furry community within the larger spectrum of the queer community. Um, uh, and like that's barely scratched the surface. And then I'll go even farther because we're not even talking about other kin right now, and we're decade away from talking about other kin. So it's just like, man, I am beyond that. Like, forget your simple issues with who to include and who not to include, because this is like, nah, I'm sorry, I'm already thinking long term on that. I'm already ahead of the game. You can come reach me here if you need me. I'm in the future arguing for things you haven't heard. You've only heard of people talking about on websites. Last year when they were giving away those pride emotes, I was happy that they had the bi flags and pansexual flags separately. Yes, that is really nice. That is a great bit of inclusiveness. There are people within the Twitch community of that work within community, not the community like y'all, but the people that work in community for Twitch that understand that, which is really helpful. Now, it would be great if they would include a tag for LGBTQ A plus. You know, it would be nice to feature that. I don't know if and when that'll ever happen, but it would be great to include that tag. I know that people are worried about trolls and harassment, but they don't fight that anyway, so why not? It's going to exist, and they don't do enough to help with that without it, so why not also have a way for folks to be able to chat with each other and help further their own communities, and also like find people. It's so hard to find people when you don't know where to look. Yeah, it's a tag but not a category. You're right. It is a tag but not a category. That is a fair distinction. Yes. Yes, you have your stream listed. Yeah. Can't let the trolls keep you from doing good things. Indeed, Lord Creston. But like it's hard for people who are looking, you know, like people, because people say like, well, who's gonna look for a cat? Who's gonna in good conscience look for that category? And it's like, well, a lot of people are looking to build community and they don't know where to start. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we got an 8 piece we need, and we need a 6 piece. We got the 2 that we need there. We're going to get some of these. Harold says, speaking of tags Twitch needs to add, they also need the autism and disabled tags. Yes. Totally. I always am reminded of a woman that she presented as and introduced herself as a woman, so I'll say that. Yeah, those are looking through that tag, right? Yeah. There was somebody at I volunteered at FlameCon, which is it's presented by Geeks Out, which is a New York collective of queer folks, and they did a comic convention called FlameCon. They've done it for a few years. It's a very nice convention. They're maybe not the best organizers in the world. In fact, I would argue that they're not the best organizers in the world. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8. Nope, so we need this one. But they definitely put some effort into it, right? And I'm volunteering because that was an easy thing for me to be able to do. I was more than happy to be able to volunteer and spend some time there, right? So I volunteer, and a woman, introduced herself as a woman, came up and approached me and said, I came here alone, and he was asking me a couple questions about where to find things and all that. And I was answering her question, and I'm not somebody that can just, like I get good vibes on people. I can kind of read people here and there, but I wasn't trying to like figure out her story or anything. But I got the sense pretty quickly that this person was here alone and was looking to talk to me, to talk to someone. Hadn't really talked to many people, talked to a few game designers, talked to some people in the showroom. And so I said, like, oh, do you come to events like this often? Because I knew she didn't. And she pretty much immediately said, like, no, this is my first time coming here. And she said, I typed in gay-friendly convention, and this came up as coming up soon. And this is my first time coming to anything like this, because I don't know what's going on with me, but I don't always feel like I'm me, and I don't have anyone to talk to about this. She says, I drove like 3 hours to come to this. I've never been to New York before, but I don't know if there's anything near me. And so I was like, okay, well, you want to go sign up for the newsletter so you get emails. And then I said, do you have an email that nobody else reads? Because that's important. And so, get on your phone, make up an email account, use that if you're worried about it. If you're not, great. Join the mailing list, and then reply to one of the emails and say, hey, can you do you know anyone in, and say your state if that's as comfortable as you are. I was like, if there's a Discord listed, if there's a Twitter thing, If there's a Facebook group, like, be whatever, however comfortable you want to be with, but like, just know you made a cool step in trying to find people that you want to talk to and hang out with. Um, and I wish I had been able to give her more help, and I wish I could have been able to talk to her more. Um, but it was that thing where I know that I'm incredibly lucky that uh, that like several years ago, while I was talking to a trusted friend about what I was thinking and feeling, that my trusted friend said, "Well, you might be demisexual, and there's a Tumblr community," because she was very big on Tumblr. And I was very lucky to have that and to have, on my journey of figuring out who I am and what's going on with me, I had many people who were incredibly helpful on my journey of figuring that out. And that up until, last year, lived in New York for 20 something years, had incredible connections with great people, had access to a lot of communities. I have been incredibly lucky and to have a supportive ear of many people out there. But not everyone gets that. Uh, it's a thing of like, uh, we smile sometimes when folks smile sometimes when they hear people that are like, "Oh yeah, I went to that to one of those pride parades just to like check things out, see what's going on. I don't know," or like, "Yeah, there was like a talk at the library and I went to go like see it," or they're like, "Yeah, I like got a book, or I was like checking out tags on whatever, or like followed some people on Twitter," and you're like, "Cool, cool, cool, okay, cool, 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 cool." Uh, and then there's like those vocal allies, those like really vocal, really supportive allies who are like super into stuff and like really supportive, and you're like, okay, like it's a thing, it's a thing. There's some people that are like real into it, and I don't know. They don't know that they're like they don't know yet that they're ready to make a change. And there's some people that never make that change, which fucking sucks. But one of the coolest things, like when I talk about like that community on Tumblr, is just that you were like, "Hey, here's a bunch of people talking about stuff that I'm interested in. I can't believe this." Or Discords, you get the private invite. You're chatting about one thing in a Discord, and someone mentions something else, and you get an invite into another one, and then suddenly you can talk freely about a thing with like-minded folks, and you can share your joys, or you end up at those, like, there are a few people I know who were like, I was, I had two people in my life who were like, I went to PAX, Penny Arcade Expo, and I was walking by, and I walked through the diversity lounge, and I went up and I started talking to people, and then one of these two people was like, I was at PAX Unplugged, and they had like their own panel room with all these cool panels, and I went in and like met a bunch of people, and then like after the panels, everyone was talking and hanging out, and now I'm on like group email chains, and I'm getting like emails to stuff, and there's like a friend of mine was just like, "Did you know that there's queer stuff in Toronto?" And I was like, "You didn't know that? You live there." But they just like, it didn't occur to them to go find out. Uh, and it's one of those things like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. It's a big city. Yeah, you can find it. You can find nerdy people that are queer that want to play D&D with you and hang out and play video games and talk shit, and then also figure out what to do when something terrible is happening. Yeah, they're all over the place. You just have to like try to find them, and it's fucking hard. It's even in a big city, it's hard as hell. Like I had friends of mine who didn't know about FlameCon, which is only a few years old, but they didn't know about Geeks Out. They didn't know about GamerX East, which felt like when it was running, felt like a big thing that, oh, well, if you play video games and you're queer and you like queer creators on itch and you're like in some conversations like, oh, I just assumed you know to go there. And then people will be like, people who follow me, I am not the most connected person in the world, but I would be like, yeah, I'm doing a panel at FlameCon, or I'm doing a panel at GamerX East, and we're doing this and this. And they'd be like, what? Well, what's that? It's like, what? Oh shit, I gotta tell you about a cool thing that you'll like. Like, please, let me tell you about this cool thing that you might be interested in. Like, it's fucking hard. And that just goes back to the fact that, like, categories will help that. Because the folks that are looking at are like, because maybe somebody just was like, you know what I don't want to do tonight? I don't want to watch a straight cis white dude play through Resident Evil 8. There's probably other people playing through Resident Evil 8 tonight that I would much rather watch, that maybe speak to me a little bit more, and maybe our experiences are going to be shared. Because, like, you don't have to be queer to not want that, to want something a little different, a different perspective, Because I think that's it's totally natural and totally reasonable. And if you don't know how to find that, you might be able to look up the category of Resident Evil 8 and look to see if there's tags. And if there were tags that included autism and disabled tags, and that was something that you were, really looking for, you'd be able to see that and be like, oh, cool. Is there somebody out there who's played lots of Resident Evil? What do they think about this game? Like, it can be nice to get that perspective instead of rolling the dice, because, some people, because also, hey, a thing that doesn't get said enough that definitely needs to get said is, like, people are different even within their own things. Like, game preferences are different, because, like, some people are going to be like, yeah, it's first person, but totally easy to play, and I've got this set up, and everything's going to be great. And then other people are just like, who are within the same community, are like, yeah, but, like, it's not scary. Remember RE7? That shit was scary. This 8 isn't scary. And, like, they're going to have different feelings, different opinions on it. And it would be nice to have the ability to find both those opinions. But you can't if you can't find the people. Harold's saying that you include your autistic streamers among your live tweets. Yeah, so if people that are looking on Twitter, that they're looking for that'd be great. Yeah, they can find it. It's a thing where, look, are there going to be people who are going to be garbage about who you are? Yeah, but they're also there. I mean, like, I've had it where I've had Jackbox in the name of the description, right? The title, but I haven't had Jackbox I haven't clicked on Jackbox Party Pack so it shows up as, like, the tag for the game, right? And I still have people coming in to make trouble and be annoying. Like, people who want to be jerks will go out of their way to be jerks. And if you stop yourself from that, it's not about letting them win, but you take yourself out of something you'd enjoy. Now, that obviously, do what you're comfortable with. Do what makes you feel okay. Don't put yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. I am not saying you have to have have a thick skin or anything like that. That's where having zero tolerance moderation, having a deal with it later, not dealing with this now, best intentions, having set up so you have to use your Twitch handle to play Jackbox is a thing that I started doing, and I think I'm totally happy with that choice. I do not regret that choice. It does make it a little harder for some people to be able to play, but it generally means that the games are better for everyone, which is, I'm trying to play games with the community, and so I want my community to be pleased and have a good time. So I don't care if somebody else is unhappy uh, who was there to make trouble. Like, I don't care about that. I'm trying to protect my community and play games with them. Um, but yeah, you protect yourself. You go out of your way to protect yourself and your community, but um, you know, don't worry about that stuff. If you want to hang out with people who are like-minded and have a good time with your community, you got to because we are still in a real rough patch for some people. Obviously, for some folks out there, 2019 wasn't that great either. I am in that camp where my 2019 was one of the lowest years of my life. And 2020 was just starting to get pretty better. Pretty much like, I would say better. Like, not a lot better, but like, was getting there before that ended. And so, like, you know, but still, we're in rough times. And I just want people to find their people and be happy. That is a big goal of mine. And obviously, for some folks out there, a lot, not everybody who watches these streams, but a lot of people who do. Giant Bomb is a comfort, the website Giant Bomb, and that is going through some changes, and that is a rough fucking time. And I'm definitely here for folks on that. I share that. Have not concluded watching the See You Next Game stream from yesterday. I keep stopping because it's a lot, and I was just like, oh yeah, I don't have to watch this the whole time. I can watch this in bits and spurts and feel okay with that, and I think that's fine for me to be able to do if that's how I can get through this, because it's a lot. The What the Dub bits are least great. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I just like them being together and doing stuff because these are the people I know. I know them from this, hanging out and doing things, and so like it is a strange situation, and it's like, okay, well, I listened to a podcast that Brad's on outside. I listened to Brad and Will made a tech pod, so I can continue to listen to that, which is nice. Oops, I forgot. I need a 1x2. I need one 1x2. So like I'll still listen to that, and like I get my weekly dose of Brad, and that's good. And I don't know what Vinny and Alex are gonna do. I think some of them will be online. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have insider information on what their future is going to be, and if we'll see them more, having a presence online or not. But it's a strange thing. I do think they are all very talented individuals. So even if they I mean, we might look aggressively. We might see them around a little bit for Extra Life here and there. I totally could see that. Like, I think that they, no matter where they end up and what capacity they do, they are all very talented people. And also, even if they want to be behind the scenes, it's going to be hard to stay back there because there will be a demand for them. Because wherever they end up, they will be so cool and great. I always joke about this. It's like, I don't know what it means to be a fan of the New Day podcast, like in a world where Dan Reichert is being Dan Reichert and is now like an integral part of that podcast. Like, I don't know what it means to be a wrestling fan who didn't know who Dan was before he started there, because it's so strange. But it's also like, yeah, of course, Dan of all people has like an ongoing bit with Kofi Kingston, and it's just like, sure, that's exactly why wouldn't that be what happened to Dan Reichert? Also, Brad's hair, Sizzler Crash said, yes, We knew he was growing it out. We knew he was taking good care of it. Occasionally he would show it off, but once he let it go wild, it is a sight. As someone that grew his hair out long once, that did not look that good, did not look that great, comparatively. Very proud of him, and is also as a member of the shaves his head because he's going bald, so we might as well just shave it now. Community, uh, you know, I appreciate him going for it and keeping it up. Same way, similar. Buddy Graham Stark, in a few years ago, he got a real wild beard. He just grew his beard out real wild. This is pre-pandemic, where he was just like, I'm in a big beard phase, and I really appreciate that. As another person that had a big beard phase, like, sure, you live that part of your life, go for it. Um, that, like, yes, please. And yeah, people go through. People are going through stuff. Harold will probably being like, Pat, you're going to bring up Graham. You're not going to bring up Beej letting his hair grow out. Brandon Beej Derry just going with just the wildest goddamn hair, just like complete abandon. And I'm like, yep, that is also a thing that's happened. That is a pandemic thing. Brad looks like the old scientist in ID4 that gets the alien tentacle around his neck. Yes, I believe that reference was made at some point. Yes, I believe Alex, because of course it would be Alex, made the reference that he was in Area 51 studying alien technology. Yes, he does very much appear to be that gentleman. Slowly going bald here, but I'm growing out so I can one day pull off the Lando Maria hair from B5. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I had a bald spot that was just like growing, and my hair was thinning, and I could see my hair. So I was like thinning hairline was receding, and it was just like the bald spot was developing, and I was like, you know what? I don't want this. I'm going to make this not my experience. Did I only need 2 of these? I guess I took 3 out and I only needed 2 of those. Great. Those. Yes. All right, so we're putting some stuff there. We will take a pause for the cause in a couple of minutes. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel, as always, like doing that. But yeah, Giant Bob stuff is still fresh in people's minds, and it's still a real bummer to have people, and it's the thing, right? These are folks that Brad was always like, if Brad hadn't left his job, the thought was at some point he was going to come back to a convention because didn't really love it, but had taken enough time off that it felt like, well, maybe Brad's going to like go to another PAX. Like maybe he'll go to like PAX West. He won't fly across the country, but maybe he'll go to PAX West. Like maybe we can get Brad to come back, right? Like it felt like, okay, well, and this is before finding out Jeff was going to have another kid. The idea was like, well, Jeff will come to a PAX again. We'll get that. The younger staff is the ones that are more, always a little more interested in it, but like, who knows? And then of course they went through some changes with folks, and it was like, okay, well, maybe we won't. Like I didn't think we were going to get Vinny at a PAX again, because it's just such a disruption in his life. It didn't feel like that was going to happen, but like Alex at another convention, yeah, that was a possibility. And as someone who would like to book those people in things, certainly is a bummer. But who knows? Who knows what the wind will take people? Who knows what tides will bind people together? I will not speculate on people's plans. I think of the 3, you will see Alex Navarro on Twitch the first of the 3. I think, I don't know which of them does like the, like which of them starts making podcast appearances. I think Alex is actually also the person most likely to guest on other podcasts that are gaming and not gaming related. That's just my hunch. I can't say for sure that's the case, but that's what my gut tells me, is he's the one who is most likely to start making appearances on things. Brad maybe on things that are tech related, that are not games, but also maybe as like, hey, we're trying to figure out this Apple Epic lawsuit. We're gonna bring Brad Shoemaker in to talk to us about this. Like, I can see that being a possibility. Um, but yeah, I don't know. But I feel like we will get maybe the woodworking Instagram from Vinny will come back. But that feels like until, if Vinny starts working a job that involves like being on social media, I feel like that's where we're going to get Vinny is maybe his Instagram will come back of him posting like woodworking stuff. Like that feels like the thing. Yeah, and we conjecture of all that. Like, do we see on Tuesday? Do we see Jeff Bakalar on the Bombcast? I don't know. I don't know what like I don't know what if that's. Like, I have no idea. I think we'll probably see Danny again, is my guess. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Bakalar moves to Beastcast, or not, but Beastcast, Bombcast. Like I don't know. I do not know. I think you'll see guests on there, and you'll see some familiar faces. I think Jeff said it would be Jeff, Jan, Jason, and Janny. Okay, well, there you go. And by that, of course, means Danny, because, yeah, all the J's. Yeah, I could see, oops, that's the wrong piece. Or, no, it isn't. This is going to go here, which is covering those pieces up. I messed up, folks. There we go. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Having people on. And yeah, will we see guests pop in? Look, will we have guests pop in who not everyone, but enough people are like, oh, I bet this person is coming to work for the site. If it's, yes, every single fucking person that that has a name, people will make conjecture about. People will ask, anyone that says like, one of the nicest things right now, one of the only nice things about the pandemic is whoever's going to start there is most likely starting there before they move to San Francisco or New York, which is awesome because you don't have to then be like, hey, I'm leaving my job and I'm not going to say what I'm doing next, but also I'm moving to San Francisco, because who in games moves to San Francisco that isn't going to go work for for GameSpot / Giant Bomb? So like at the very least you can get that. You don't have to be like, I'm moving to an undisclosed location. Instead, people can just be like, yeah, I'm starting a new job and eventually I'm going to move there. But right now I don't have to, because what even is an office? All right, we're going to more of the face of the wall here. We are going to take a pause for the cause in a moment or two. I'm going to try to get all this outside work done, because that will feel like I accomplished something in the first hour. And then we'll talk about ways you can support the channel, as we always do. Then we'll get into some more building of this Lego set. We'll talk about some anime that came out. That's very funny. But yeah, we're making progress. We're getting stuff done. We will we'll get the sides done here, and then take our little break. And by break, I mean advertisements, not a physical break, because I only stream for 2 hours, so I don't take like a bio break of any kind on stream, or not on stream, during the stream. I definitely don't take a bio break on stream, because that is a breach of terms of service. I am certain. Without fully knowing for a fact, I can say with pretty certainty that is definitely not something that is definitely a breach of terms of service. Lord Crashton wants to ring the bell. Folks, for 1,000 channel points, I'll ring this physical bell right here in the microphone. Ring the bell. I actually touched the microphone there. I apologize. But yes, ring the bell for service. That is what I do. All right, so we're going to put this here. And, oops. Yeah. There we go. Oop, maybe I should have, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to put this in after I put in the other pieces because it will make my life easier to do it like that. Got to ring that bell. I am eventually going to have a physical replacement for the physical soundboard. I have not figured out what that is going to be yet, but I am going to get a cheaper, the channel points thing that isn't the bell. Just as the bell is a replacement for another thing that we don't do here anymore because I just felt weird about it. When the physical soundboard broke, I did want to replace it with something else. I have not yet. I will. I'm looking for the right thing that is also the right price. And that didn't feel like a thing to put on my wish list, so I'm going to buy that myself. But all right, so we finished this step. Now we have done the sides. We still have to do the sides of the chimney pieces that go here. And then we got to put all of the outside like spooky shit that I don't know the name of has to go on here. We got to do all that. Oops, this popped out, so I got to put this back on. Hey, here's a fun fact from this booklet. The Briar's home with the porch swing in the foreground is an homage to The Evil Dead, the movie The Evil Dead from 1981, the original movie. And that, when I look at this house, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, looking at the swing in, here, right here, well, it's behind the car and all that. This does feel like a homage to The Evil Dead, which I didn't notice that it was. But now that I read that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, we are going to take a pause for the cause. This is an opportunity for me to talk to you about ways you can support the channel if you are so inclined. You are under no obligation to do so, but if you would like, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to, talk about ways you can support what I do here and me. And it'll only take a few minutes, and then we'll get back to doing Lego, and we're going to talk about anime that came out in the past couple days. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know you are a subscriber to the channel. If you're not already following me, please go ahead and give me a follow, turn your notifications on. But if you are inclined to become a subscriber, you're more than welcome to do so. $5 a month using your Prime Game token, which is free, or $5 if you want to use cash money or credit card. If you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that gifted sub into a regular subscription, and they won't charge you till your gifted month is up. And they'll give you, so that is the thing you could do. Gifting subs, a great way to support what I do here. Aristophan and Air have gifted this month, which has been so kind of them. They didn't have to do that, and they chose to, which is great. And I appreciate that very much. Also, Bits and Coins. Who's on our Bits and Coins leaderboard? Let me look at this. We got Dirty and we got Harold on the Bits and Coins leaderboard. Appreciate you both for that. Thank you for that. Those just help me out. We're trying to keep around 50 subscribers if we can, and Bits and Coins are always appreciated. And gifting subs is always a nice way to help out give back to the community, and we appreciate that very much. I do have a Patreon, and you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. If you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up YouTube? You can find all these links in the show description below. My Patreon is a $1 tier, a $3 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier. So different levels, not just the $5 here, that you could join if so interested. Again, no obligation to do so, but if you'd like to, I would love it. If $5 a month doesn't work for you, put $1 or $3 a month. If you joined at $3 level, you will notice that there is a poll up right now that the $3, $5, and $10 patrons are voting on what I play on Wednesday. Because once a month, the 3, 5, and 10 get to vote on what I play. It is the big thing at the $3 level. Right now, Jackbox Party Pack is winning. Will it stay in the lead? I don't know. It might not. So that is that right now that looks to be what we're going to be playing. Now, I mentioned that I have a YouTube. YouTube.com/PatBear. If you go there, you could join the YouTube. You can obviously subscribe for free. I post videos there, a weekly Wednesday video, and every other Monday, including this coming Monday, I post videos there for another series. And occasionally I post other things here and there. So youtube.com/PatBear. There's also a join. You can join. I'm just going to quickly check AdSense to see if we finally did it. I don't think it's going to update right now, but I'm going to check it to see. We did it. We did it. We did it. I now have a balance of $103, which is over the threshold. The threshold is $100. I now can request that they let's see. Yeah, how do I what do I gotta do here? Does it automatically do it? I can't remember if it automatically does it. But they will finally give me a payout, and I will use that money to buy model kits and Lego sets to build on stream. But I have hit the payment threshold, and I believe at the end of the month they will give me a payout because I finally hit it. The end of April, I finally hit that, so I gotta take care of that. But yeah, I am going to. I've now hit that. So now the next $100 is the goal on YouTube because I have memberships. So you can join and become a member there. That's what I was getting at. Also, direct donations. Everything you donate through direct donations, everything I get through YouTube, through PayPal, through Twitch. It's not PayPal. Through Patreon and Twitch goes to me buying model kits and Lego sets and building them on stream. So thank you very much for even considering looking at any of that. Now, I have a huge backlog. I said I'm going to put up a vote next week to who works on it, what I work on next. There's a way to bypass that queue. I have a backlog of stuff, but if you really wanted me to build something specifically on stream ahead of everything else, you could buy something from my Amazon wish list, and then it'll jump the queue, and I'll build the thing you bought next. I didn't move this in the right spot, but I just put an Iron-Blooded Orphans high grade I never built. It's the first of the high grades, but I built so many of the full-blooded. I never the Iron-Blooded Orphans full mechanics that I never built the high grade, so I put that there. I've got Lego sets. I've got Zoid because Zoids are back. I've got high grades, master grades, the Hello Kitty kit that's a Hello Kitty, and then also RX-782, and then a Hello Kitty / RX-782. You can combine them. A bunch of different stuff that I would love to build on stream, and if you buy it, it jumps the queue, and I build it ahead of time. That is my promise. I'll also shoot a video, specifically a mailbag video about the thing that you bought and say, and thank you if you attach a note. Alternatively, you can buy me a gift card to USA Gundam Store, then send me a DM because my DMs are open on Twitter. USA Gundam Store offers gift cards. They send you an email with a code. Then you copy that code and paste it to me. And then I buy something. And you can have input there as well. Let's see. I have a Discord. That's a free way to support me because Discord is free for now. But yeah, right now it's free. And you can join, and I post photos after every build stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's a very cool, nice little community of people over on my Patreon. So feel free to join that. Let's see. What else do I have? Some videos. We'll get back to building in just a moment. Talk about some anime. Speaking of anime, I have a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club coming out on Monday. But right now, if you haven't watched it, I talked about the 4 shows I really like this season. Fairly new season. We're only like 5 episodes in. So, almost halfway. Maybe 6 episodes depending on the show. But I talk about the shows that stand out to me. Now, are my feelings on one of them a little different now after like 2 weeks? Yeah, we'll talk about that actually tonight because it's one of the 4 shows I want to talk about tonight. And the other video I want to share is Baer With Me. Baer With Me is a reaction series. Usually I react to videos. In this last week, I reacted to a taste test. I did a taste test of peanut butter puffs, which I had never had before, and I gave my opinion on peanut butter puffs. And they were, you'll have to watch the video to find out how I thought about them. And yeah, those are 2 videos you could watch that I would appreciate if you checked it out. And then, let's see, do I have anything else that I need to say before we get into other stuff? No, I am going to go back to the overhead. I'm going to drink a little water. I'm going to talk to you about some anime that I watched in the past couple days. because it's the second hour of the stream, and that's what we do. I'm going to quickly check messages of things because I am waiting on a message from someone about a thing. It didn't come in, so it's fine. I'm going to drink a little water. Let's go to the overhead, and let's get back to, let's build some stuff that's going to go on the face of this from the upside down. Water. All right, so anime that I want to talk to you about is boop. We got 4 shows. Not all of this episode of Soma Spider So What took place in the past with the spider, which is bad. I've said this before. I will say it again. When it is not spider heavy, when it is the conflict that involves the other isekai kids, I am less interested. I should probably read the Soma Spider So What manga, because apparently the light novels was this like back and forth where it presented all of the story at once as if it was in the same timeline, and then you realized the spider was in the past and the events that were happening to the kids happened in the future, that there were 2 timelines in there, and this jump back and forth made a lot more sense. The manga was like, let's just start with the spider. Eventually we'll tell you all the things that happened with these human kids, and various other things. But right now, let's just like be spider focused. And that was the manga's choice. And I don't think it was the wrong choice. I don't want to say that the anime, like, the main problem with the anime is that they do like try to play, they originally, before they make the reveal that this is happening in 2 different timelines, they're very focused on being like, oh, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? Like, oh, well, the loner girl, maybe that's probably the spider, but what about the weirdo girl? Is the weirdo girl the spider? And it's like, no, she's not. Oh, well, maybe this popular girl is because we haven't met everybody. And it's just like, sometimes it's trying to be really clever, and it's just like, oh, you're not. Don't worry about being really clever. Just like tell a good story. Like, that's all you have to do. So the big things I want to talk about this is we know at this point, also at certain points, they were trying to get us to think, as the audience, that the Demon Lord is our spider. Like, our spider became the Demon Lord. And that obviously is not the case. I don't believe the spider is an isekai person. This is just, we did find out later, or the spider is an isekai person. The Demon Lord is like the original, is like the mother of all of these spiders, which is interesting to find out. I don't think we knew that. I'm pretty sure we didn't know that. And she's reminiscing about the time she had to fight one of the only spider that ever gave her trouble, because every other spider just did what she said. But also we're dealing in the reality, the real world, where we have the labyrinth that our hero used to our spider used to live in. Now in the present, doesn't live there anymore. But they think, well, apparently, I actually thought this was fucking cool. Some of the spiders there are vestiges of the nightmare creature, which is our spider. And my assumption is that it's something to do with the parallel mind skill, that like there are some spiders there that hold like a place, and hold like some sort of like memories of hers, which I don't know. I just think that's pretty cool, because there's a run in, Shun has like a couple visions, which is interesting. They did 2 in one episode. That was strange, but one of them is just like, he has this moment where he sees the girl who is the weirdo, and she's like reaching out to him, and we know that that's the vampire girl, that she was like born as a vampire, so we know that, but they don't know that. Let's see. I need a black piece that goes across a bar. we're doing the swing. We're doing the dark version of the swing, which is kind of fun to say. That is a fun thing to say out loud. We're doing the dark version of the swing. Oofda. We just had, looks like some gift subs have just been, have just ended. So I'm going to have to put up the, numbers again. And I got to change it. So I got to change that to, and that's fine. We are now at 43 out of 50. So I'm putting the number back on the board. We are looking to get to 50. We are at 43. As I said, probably just because someone's gifted subs expired and people didn't choose to change that, and that is okay. It is totally up to them. It's up to people's decisions they make themselves if they want to continue a gift sub. Some people can't do that. And they're happy to be given a gift sub. Some people were here very briefly when they got a gift sub and didn't know it happened. And to them, it's just like, oh, that's weird. Cool. All right. And that's fine as well. But I do put that up there just to say, like, hey, we got 43 out of 50. The goal is to get to 50. Well, we just had Dugma subscribe at tier 1. Let's turn that gift sub into a real one. Subscribe for 2 months. Thank you very much, Dugma, for subscribing at tier 1. Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for converting your sub. That means a lot. I do appreciate that. You're under no obligation to do that, obviously, but I do very much appreciate it. All right, so we got to make this table here. So we need these for the bench. But yeah, I appreciate that. Welcome to your converted sub. Let's see. So we need a 1x4. So there's some stuff with the whole thing. It's this stuff. They fight a dragon, and they all get. Then now they're all dragon slayers, and they get some new skills, and that's good because Shun does need to level up, even though it's dangerous to level up. He does need to level up because he is trying to fight. Like, eventually he's going to have to fight the demon army. He's going to have to fight the people that are trying to take over his home. He's got a lot on his plate. Dude's got a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, a lot of stuff on there. And then back in the past, so basically, our spider is immortal. So she can, oh yeah, we got to change this. Sorry. It did update here. And now we can make this 44, which is great. We're already on our way back up to 50. Thank you very much for converting that sub. Came into effect, so I can change it. But there's a whole thing where the spider is immortal, but it takes a while for her to regen. And she's really happy that the Demon Lord didn't like read her stats and know her abilities, because if she had done abyss magic, she would have eradicated the very soul of our spider, and our spider would have been dead. And apparently, like, I don't know if the Demon Lord knows that about abyss magic, but maybe one would assume that she does because she's a Demon Lord. So that's a whole fucking thing. But eventually, the Demon Lord now knows the spider is still alive and is like, oh, I have to go kill that spider because the spider's parallel minds are still attacking the mother spider. And then also, through the mother spider's connection with the Demon Lord, one of the parallel minds is attacking the Demon Lord, which I was not expecting. I mean, it's in the opening song, the OP, is them fighting. So I was like, well, at some point she's got to fight the Demon Lord. And then we know in the future, like now we can pretty much assume, well, if the Demon Lord isn't the spider, then the spider is probably, one would assume, spider is the woman in white. And we don't know how that happened. But we're going to find out, I guess. So that's the whole thing. As always, I want more spider and less of the other people. It's called Soma Spider, so what? And And the so what is not, so let's go talk to other people and like see what they're up to. Like I don't care how the elves are doing. Sorry. I, I don't care how those elves are doing. Like I care about the spider. It's her show. All right, and we got to build another. I really love how this chair comes together with the laser legs. Got to find those pieces there. The laser guns, but then they're used as legs for the. Oh, I got the wrong ones here. Sorry. Let's see. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, I should talk about this episode of those Snow White notes. Okay. So I can't find. Oh, there we go. Couldn't find some pieces I needed. Now I can. So I'm just going to say this in general about those Snow White notes. It is one of my 4 favorite shows this season, but I am falling less in love with it. I think the first episode is incredible, and I think that subsequent episodes have been fine, but it's a different show. And I've talked about that before, how the first episode is like a pilot for a show that doesn't get picked up, like it goes through corporate changes after they're like, well, we like the character and we like the vision you have for this, but what if instead of him being like we're going to keep the part where his grandfather passes away and he's lost his sound and he's trying to figure out what his sound is, we're going to keep that. But could we get rid of the part where he lives in Tokyo with a guy that like punched him, and instead could he like go to a school, and I don't know, maybe his mom is like really rich and powerful and like pulling the shots and like secretly leading him along to like find his sound in like a way that she can, but like, she's not like talking, like she's still like weird, and there'll be like other high school kids with high school bullshit problems and like maybe a shamisen club, and it just feels like it went from, these are all things that are happening in the show, it felt like it went from a very interesting premise to a fairly basic premise that still, because it's an anime, has incredible music to it. Like I probably would have put the manga down, but I'm not putting down the anime. It's just went from being like my absolute favorite show this season to a show I like this season. Like I like a lot, but it's not the same. Those Snow White Notes is a good show that is like that the pilot made me think it was going to be a great show. Still got good music. Again, also at this time, I will complain. I complained on Twitter, and I feel like no one's watching this show, so they're not noticing that. But we're at episode 6, so they changed the opening theme. There's a new opening theme, and I guess that's important to have introduce the characters that weren't in the opening, and because the switcheroo is now complete. Now we have to talk about the new show and the new vibe that it gives. But it doesn't. It's the first theme for those Snow White Notes is shamisen forward, because it's a show about a guy who's great at the shamisen becoming even better at it. And then they're like, well, we'll still have the same singer, but this new theme won't be as shamisen forward. And I'm like, I don't love that. So yeah, there's a new opening theme. It's not as good as the old one. Blizzard was the old song. I don't know what this one song is called. Wasn't as good. And this episode they were in a training camp. So it's them kind of getting better at the shamisen and trying to figure out what they need to do to be better musicians. And it was important, but very life stuff. We got a little backstory of some of the characters. Yui is being very competitive. She's the friend of Shuri. We're on the equivalent of Bag 9, folks. We're getting there. We're making We're making moves. We're making big moves. We're gonna put some. We got these. These are usually whips but they're going to be using this as vines in this, but they're traditionally, these are used as whips uh, in the world of Lego. But we're going to make use of them in this case to make vines on posts. Let's see. What else? There's some drama and some yelling. We find out that one of the dudes, he was a soccer player, but he got injured, and it's also Setsu. Like, Setsu's not a teacher. He doesn't know what to say to people. He is really, like, he's a great musician, but he is really obsessed with his own bullshit, and like, at some point can't really help Shuri, but then Shuri does get help. And then also this whole time, there's like an old lady who's there at the training camp who's like helping them out. Oh, Jolliffe is fully vaccinated. Congratulations, Jolliffe. Hell yeah. That rules. Anyway, there's an old lady at this training camp thing, and she's there reporting to Setsu's mom, because Setsu makes the decision, all right, I'm going to enter the solo competition. I've never done a solo competition. I'd like to see where it takes me. Fine. His brother shows up to give him some advice as well, because his grandfather never had part of the idea is to honor his grandfather, because his grandfather never had a apprentice, never wanted one, never desired one. So, he's going to carry on the legacy of his grandfather. That's pretty neat. We're leading up to this competition. I kind of don't give a shit about the competition. I almost never care about competition in anime. Like, to me, it's just like, all right, well, what happens along the way? And that, I guess, is the most important thing. So, if we get some more character growth, if we get some more stuff from Setsu, he did get to play, which was cool. Some characters are having some breakthroughs. Still worried about the clearly coded as queer character, as if that's going to become a punchline or not. Right now, he is mostly not. But, he's got an earring, and he called a man gorgeous, and people are like, what? And it's like, just that can happen. What are we doing here? The fuck are we doing here? So everyone in my family and job is flaming me for being vaccinated. At least I'm healthy. Oh well, I guess. Yeah. Well, Jolliffe, I don't know what. Yeah, you did the right thing. You want to be vaccinated. You don't want to get COVID, and you don't want to, you don't want to be a carrier of it. So, like, yeah. It's like one of those things where you just go, oh, just so you know, it's weird to not want that. Like, do your part. Help people who, help other people. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, don't get COVID. It's, like, pretty simple. It's like, yeah, this way, like, if I do get it, I won't die from it. So, great. Sounds rad. Like, I don't know. There's also going to be, like, some places that won't let you do stuff unless you have been, and you get to avoid all of that bullshit. And I guess, like, there was a thing going around on social media of a sign on the house that said something like, if you've been vaccinated, we love you, but you can't come in because of the changes to your DNA or something, some dumb bullshit like that, where you're just like, okay, sure. Like, oh no, I can't go into like some weirdo's house. Oh no. Oh no! Don't take my right to go into your weirdo house away from me. You mean I can't hang out with you? Oh no! People I wasn't gonna hang out with anyway. Got second shot today too. Hell yeah, Dirty. Not sure if tiredness or being lightheaded is the shot or the unpacking from my move. Well, Dirty, I think you'll probably know more tomorrow than today. I didn't have anything. jerks telling on themselves, right? One less house I won't ever be in. Indeed. But yeah, I didn't feel anything, so I can't really speak on if you're going to feel it. Uh, I do know that apparently for a lot of people it was the next day. It wasn't. Some people it was immediate, but other people were like, "Yeah, I'm doing all right," and then next day we're like, "Oh, I'm not doing okay." Again, cannot make any real confirmation on that because, as I said, Harold just subscribed to Tier 1. That's 42 months. Thanks for renewing. Thank you for being such an early adopter, Harold. Basically, as soon as I offered subscriptions, let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site them out. Thank Harold for that. You're in there, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for your continued support, Harold. Thanks for renewing that sub. 4, 3, 6, 8. Yes, we did that. On the upside down, to my last 6 boxes out of 46. Okay. Hell yeah. That rules. Good on ya. Good luck with getting all those boxes. And then Harold cheered 10 bits. Thank you for cheering some bits, Harold. Appreciate that. Always appreciate your bits. Everybody's bits. Bits that you give me, not bits that you do. I do appreciate those as well, but some of those I don't appreciate as much. And then Dirty cheered 11 bits. Saying, hey, Harold. Because Dirty wants to keep in the lead. Dirty and Harold are in a low amounts at a time bit war, which I benefit from, and that is fine. And I am not saying you should continue past what do you want to. But also that is, Harold says, the last of my bits, putting Harold right in the lead of, again, a low bit war, which is great for me, but is also not necessary. All right, so we got to put this. This takes a little while because I got to put this over all this other stuff. And then Dirty does another 4, putting Dirty out in the lead, barely in the lead. Thank you for your bits. Thank you for your support. Thank you for keeping this war civil and silly in a way that I appreciate. All right, so putting this on here, we now have this. The roof is going to connect to this, which is basically the gutter here of the house, which we did on this side. You can see that's the white part that's right here. And then these go on top of it. And that all looks good. And we're actually going to do that right now. Gotta do dark blues. Okay, I have 2 more anime to talk about before the stream's over. So I'm going to talk about those 2 anime that I want to talk to you about. Let's see. So I need this. Okay, so I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. My favorite character from the show, because this is a rare instance where I have read the manga, because I generally don't read a lot of manga, but I have read this manga, and so I can tell you that I very much enjoy this story. Is it telling that the last boxes I'm packing are the ones with my work gear? Dirty, I get it. I mean, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, yes, that does make sense and is also telling. Yeah. Because you're moving, and so you know that when the move's over, the work has to continue. So yeah, taking your time with it. Did I do this right? Okay, I didn't do this part right. I got to line this up better here. We got to do right like this. Yeah. Okay, I didn't line this up right the first time, which makes it harder for me to line this up right, which I did right now. Great. Got that done. Okay, so I've been killing slimes. As I said, I've been reading the manga of this, so I knew that my favorite character would be introduced very soon, and she was introduced in this episode. She is my favorite character on the show. Her name is Rosalie, and she has the appearance of a teenage girl, but she is centuries old. She doesn't say exactly how old she is, but she's old. But she's always embodied, and because she's lived for a while, she has a sassy attitude. She's got tude, and like kind of like a rough, almost like boyish, like approximation, like her tone, like her voice is still great, an original gimmick. Yes, she's just like a ghost with attitude, but she is also awesome. Rosalie fucking rules. But the factory in town, the Haruka, Halkara, who is the elf, who's my least favorite character in the show. But she's like, hey, the employees of my factory have all quit because there's a ghost. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I get why they were like, hey, peace out. There's a fucking ghost. We're not doing this. It makes sense that they would be like, yeah, later. So anyway, they're like, yeah, later. She's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to move my factory to a new town, and I don't want to do that. And they're like, yeah, we don't want you to leave. You know, the slime girls are like, yeah, it'd suck if you left. Everyone's a little bummed out. And they're like, well, I guess we could get rid of the ghost. And so Asuna, the witch, is like, I fucking guess we'll get rid of the ghost. I have an idea. She summons Beelzebub, who is like, what? That's what you want me to do? You want me to go bust a ghost? She didn't say bust a ghost, but I wish she said bust a ghost. So she's like, sure, I'll help you out. Fine. Like, that's what you need me for? Okay. Ooh, there are pavers I was supposed to put down here. I didn't put one of them down. Oh, I did. Oh, never mind. I did find it. Never mind, everybody. I got this. So she's like, okay, I'll give you a hand. Let's go get rid of this ghost. And now we know that ghost is a cool young lady with kind of a punk attitude named Rosalie. She's bound there, so she can't leave it if she wanted to. She's like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind going somewhere, but this is the house where I committed suicide in, which they explained that she was like a nice girl, and her parents were, instead of her marrying into someone rich, they were just going to sell her to somebody who was a nefarious person. So her parents sold her out. So she was like, well, I don't have any agency, and I don't want this, so I guess I'm going to die. She's been haunting the house for the whole time, but they were like, well, what if we moved you? What if we moved you to a new place? And she's like, I mean, I guess. And that's where, of course, Azusa is like, come live with me. I got a cool house with like fun ladies, and you can come hang out there and just be like, you don't have to be bound to that house, but if you want, you can come live there. So they're like, she's like, sure. I'm going to call you Big Sis or Sis, and I'm going to come live in your house with you. That sounds great. Now the problem, of course, is a big problem. She's bound there. They don't know how to break the binding without her, being sent to heaven. And the solution is that if she possesses someone, then they can leave the place, and then she can unpossess them, and then boom, she is in the new place, and everything is cool. So they possess Halkara, the elf, who is not happy about it, but whatever. And they leave and they go to the house, and they're like, cool, you're now no longer a bound spirit. You can move around places, and all you have to do is get out of Halkara, and everything will be cool. And like the slime girls are like, oh, this seems neat. We haven't met a ghost before. This will be cool. But she can't get out. She doesn't know how to unpossess someone. She's never possessed anyone before. So they go through a lot of goofy ways to try to get her to be unpossessed, none of which really work. And they're like, they're comical and silly. And then eventually they get Rosalie, who's never drank before, because she died when she was a teen, and she's never possessed anyone. She never drank. She was a good girl. They get her drunk, and then so she falls asleep in Hulkera's body, and then they wake her up, and she shocks herself and pops out of it, which seemed like it could have gone very badly, but didn't. And so now she's a cool ghost. They also introduce her as a friendly ghost around town so that people are like comfortable with her being around. And that's it. Now now this house is an immortal witch, a hundreds-year-old dragon woman that is also the maid. Uh, Two of the first ever slime spirits who are in their 75 but act like children. A couple hundred years old boozy and clumsy elf, and of course the latest addition to the family, a teen witch. No, sorry, teen ghost. What am I saying? I'm getting my facts mixed up. Now we have a teen ghost with a cool attitude, and also their friend, a high-ranking demon in Beelzebub, who doesn't live there but visits a lot, and is also an accomplice to shenanigans. And that's the family. That's the whole deal. It is a beautiful little show, and I enjoy it very much. It is a fun, interesting take on an isekai that I am happy to appreciate and watch. And we got one more show to talk about as we continue working on this and putting some pieces in places they need to go. More of these tubes have to go places here. I'm not sure what these represent. Maybe they represent more gnarly vines and stuff. I'm not really sure. As I said, I don't know this show particularly well, but they represent something. So I want to tell you about Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun Season 2, which I will, to be clear, have not enjoyed as much as Season 1. And I think mainly it's because we haven't focused on the characters I like in the show. Basically, Clara is my favorite character in the show, and she was barely in it. She was in this episode, but there was a whole spell, and they turned Amari, who I think is supposed to be an important, the anime wants me to think that she's a very important character and her opinion matters. And outside of her, finally realizing, oh, her finally, acknowledging that she loves, Iruma, the main character. She's like, oh, excuse me, I'm going to cough here. Sorry. Pardon me. Her acknowledging that she has feelings for him, oh, okay, I get this. That character is important, but she's never been my favorite character in the show. And we focused on her and her own bullshit that was happening. I was like, I'm less interested. Let's see. The big memo to this is, everything works out. Ronove, who is a character that was introduced last episode and was believed to be the person responsible for hurting Amari, he isn't the guy that did that. He does suck, and I hate him, and he sings terrible songs, and I hate the dude, and he's a villain designed to be disliked, and they do a very good job of making me fucking hate this dude. I hate this dude so much. So great job making me despise this fucking guy. Great work, everybody. Everybody did good. High fives all around. It's fine. It's a fine episode. Because the actual person that did this, who is an obsessed fan, a fanboy that wanted her, because he loves the tough version of Amari, and so he decided he really needed to see the ladylike, timid version. So he did it, but they figured out who it was, and everything worked out okay. And then the magic apparatus battler, which is just the battler is their word for club, after school club, gets reinstated. And he doesn't join, Iruma doesn't join in with the student council. He rejoins his club because maybe someday the person who founded it will be able to come back to it, although probably not. But it means that our characters who were separated are back together again, which is great. And yeah, I said Amari now totally knows, oh shit, I love this dude. There was a fun moment where, if you haven't been watching the show, a new development in Season 2 is, Season 1, there was this thing called the Gluttonous Ring that can store magic power. We now found out in Season 2 that as he advances in school, as he does better in school, this magic ring is now becoming more and more sentient and like a real creature as he ranks up in school. So the ring like popped in and was just like, "Hey, congratulations for you and your girlfriend." And he's just like, "No, we're not dating. What? No." And he's like, "Oh, cool. Oh, you dating the weird girl? The weird girl with purple with green hair?" Like, all right, master, sure, whatever you're gonna do. He's like, no, it's not like that at all, which I thought was just cute. It's just like, I mean, he's like, whatever you like, dude. I don't know, you do you, which I appreciate. Yeah, that show is fine. It Season one is really fun, and then it didn't need to be a double length series. It kind of lost its luster after a while, and season two has not started particularly strong. And so I am interested in seeing where the rest of this season goes now that we've solved this thing. If the whole season is like Amari trying to figure out how to tell Iruma that she like loves him, it's gonna be an annoying season two, because I don't really care about that. And then also looming over it is the fact that the end of season one, there was a whole thing where Iruma was like, there was like a bad version of him. He told his grandpa to stuff it. And I don't know where that's coming from and when that happens. If that was just a tease and then that doesn't happen until like the middle or end of this season, I don't know. All right, so this goes here. So the other, the regular right side up has stringed lights and they're different colors. The upside down has string lights, but it's just one color. Ooh, spooky. So I gotta put this there, and then I gotta put this here. Oh, also, shortly after my stream is over tonight, we will raid. We always raid, folks. So we're always gonna go and raid somebody. But I would recommend, like, for your own, peace of mind, like, probably, starting at like 11:35 Eastern time, like, don't be on Twitter, because people are just gonna be like live hate tweeting or just live tweeting on their own without really caring. Like, there's going to be a lot of Elon Musk bullshit on Twitter as people like react to what he's doing. And I don't want anything to do with it. And I don't know if you do, but I'm going to probably do my like, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Like, the archive will be up tomorrow. Here's the photo of what I took at the end of the stream. I'll probably do that. But like, I'm not going to stick around on Twitter. Tomorrow I'll see notices of people getting ready to give their hot takes, and I may or may not read those, because I just my general sense is indifference to the whole concept of that, and that is like the best I can give them is indifference. It's just like, all right, if you want to hook and beyond there, go for it. But I have no interest in see it's like, what? Either we're gonna watch him like do a okay job. Yeah, note take. I don't need hot takes. Yes. Either we're gonna see him do like terrible, and you're gonna be like, of course he does terrible, or he's gonna do like fine, and you'll be like, weird. He wasn't even terrible, or he'll be like great, and it'll be like, why is this even happening? Because it's just one of those things you're just like, this is awful that this exists. Also, like, hey, can we just say, because I don't think it gives enough credence, like, Miley Cyrus has hosted and been the musical guest before and has done a great job, because Miley Cyrus is an actress and musician. Like, hey, you could have just had Miley Cyrus on there doing double duty instead of this. That sucks. Yeah, it just sucks. It's like a lot of like, oh, this just sucks. But yeah, you have a lot of people are gonna have a lot of thoughts and opinions on it, and I don't need to read them. Yes, mad talent there with too much offstage drama. I mean, also like, a lot of that drama is because people pay too much attention. Like, a lot of it is just like people looking People really care a lot about caring a lot about every little fail of a young person. But we need the meme billionaire to host. Yeah. All right, we're going to call it quits there. We still have to build the roof on this thing. We got to build the roof. There's a little bit of outside stuff that needs to happen. And then we will start working on the trees so we can start putting this thing together, because eventually this like goes like this and locks into place on the sides. And you can kind of see how that works here. We can get a little sense of that, which is pretty neat. But we did some pretty good progress here. So I'll take some photos of this and upload it, and upload the archive so you can watch that. But yeah, we're getting there. We're making moves. But that is going to do it for a stream. We are going to raid, so we will raid in just a moment. I just need to go and find somebody for us to go raid and hang out and check out with. So give me a second to figure out who we're going to go raid, because please come along for this. And again, come back on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, as I continue to work on this kit. Still making progress. Sometime during the next week, I will finish this kit. But it'll take a little while. And let me see who we got here. Liz, look, we're gonna do it. We're gonna raid Liz Star, who rules, because Liz doesn't always play this late. Liz currently have 69 viewers, so we are breaking that, which is rude. We shouldn't be breaking 69 viewers, but also like it's gonna get broken anyway at some point, so I don't feel too bad about it. But Liz usually doesn't stream this late on a night that I stream, so I do want to go give her a raid, because Liz Star rules. Liz does a lot of stuff that's on like GDQ stuff, and a lot of classic games and modded games, and is just awesome. So we're going to go give Liz a raid, so feel free to come along on this raid. As I said, we are going to break... Oh, she's already at 70, so we're not breaking it. So she did hit 70, so we are going to go give her a raid and see what's up. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Feel free to come along in this raid, and I'll see you on the next Build with Baer on Monday. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.